William Cook is a foundry group in the UK that was founded back in the 1850s. It currently consists of 4 foundries and a number of associated engineering businesses. Our focus is in the defence sector, rail sector. Here in the Sheffield plant we focus heavily on parts for process industries. The heavy foundry where the Meltech furnace has been installed, where we can produce castings up to around 10 tonnes. The Meltech furnace was brought in to allow us to increase that capacity up to around 20 tonnes of liquid steel that we can pour to make a finished casting of around 12 tonnes. Meltech were able to offer us a furnace of a bespoke size rather than an off-the-shelf standard product. It uses IGBT technology as opposed to SCRs, which gives an efficiency improvement of the incoming electrical power to that that's delivered to the furnace. Once we'd decided on Meltech, we had an on-site survey. They spec'd up the size of the area we had for installation and then produced good drawings that allowed us to amend the furnace stage and structure and foundations in order to accommodate their furnace. These drawings were very clear, and we were able to work with our civil engineering partners to complete the foundations in a timely manner. We ultimately had about 4 to 5 weeks to do the installation. All the equipment was delivered to site on time, and then it was installed, and then all the ancillary services were provided by Meltech. Meltech not only provided the bus bars and the inverter for their own furnace, Meltech also took away some of the existing copper work from the other 3-ton furnace, modified it to suit the new routing, and brought it back to site and installed that as well. We've been very happy with the standard of the installation, particularly the water cooling system, which was custom designed to also incorporate one of our existing furnaces. The process up to the point of installation was very smooth. From getting everything up and running, the commissioning process with Meltech has only taken a couple of weeks. The software on the Meltech furnace is very in-depth. It not only covers the electrical parameters of the Meltech furnace, but also we can investigate the water cooling system, all the temperatures on the different circuits, the flow rate, temperatures on the other furnace that the cooling system is connected to, how fast the fans are running on the cooling system, and all the energy that's being consumed by the ancillary services as well. So it gives us a huge amount of in-depth knowledge of the whole system, not just how much energy we're using on melting or how much power we're putting into the furnace at that time. There's a remote connection to the Meltech inverter so that they can effectively dial in and see what's going on and hopefully help us diagnose any problems. Full error fault reporting within that system so we can see the history of any faults that have been flagged by the system. We'll have a good number of hours and days with the Meltech team to fully go through all their software, so we can do fault finding. Ultimately, if we get a fault at 6 o'clock in the morning, we want to be able to solve that fault without having to resort to having to call Meltech. So if we need any more in-depth servicing or fault finding help, we can get Meltech to dial in. Once we've turned power onto the furnace, the first melt went very smoothly. It's been one of the smoothest hot commissioning processes of any equipment I've been involved with. We've increased the power on the furnace over those 3 melts. We're very keen to engage with Meltech again in the future. I think being a relatively small organisation, they're very agile. They can respond to our queries very quickly. The people that work there, they know the equipment inside out. You go straight to the person that knows about it and you get the information back straight away. They have tweaked their design to our requirements, not necessarily said this is our catalogue of parts, which one would you like? Throughout the design and installation process, any problems that have been raised have been communicated, resolved very quickly. It's now a production unit and we're now operating at full power, and it's been a very smooth process.